Hey everybody, it's Audrey and welcome to day 16 of the Summer Scrappin Series. Today my guest is the amazingly talented Virginia Walker. She has just such a great style too. She's one of my favorite scrappers, so please go check out her channel. And I am using the August Hip Kit Club kit this month for this page, which has a totally super awesome stencil in the color kit, and that's what I was inspired to use, so I'm going to use it. So I am working with a piece of basil marshmallow cardstock, and I just put some clear gesso over the top, and I'm going to give that a quick dry with my heat gun. And this stencil is by, I think it's Cartabella. It's either Echo Park or Cartabella. And I just love these lines. It could be used for all kinds of things. My immediate thought was kind of like a rain, like a drizzle rain. So I only want a small section of this, and I kind of want some vertical lines. So I have this piece of scrap paper that I cut out to mist something else, and I am going to cover part of the stencil with this piece of paper so that I'm only getting a rectangular shape from the stencil, and I can kind of control where I want my mist to go. And you can see the mist that collected on the stencil. I flipped the stencil over and I'm pressing that onto the page and using that up too, because the negative of that stencil is lines as well. And the negative there can make some pretty designs too. And where I pressed it on with the stencil, it kind of got smushed in, but that's okay because I'm going to go over it here with another color, another darker blue. And so, it kind of gives it that messy, watercolory look. So I'm just using a paintbrush and some of that dark blue colorings, I think that is, from Shimmers. And then this gold is absolutely gorgeous. It's so, it's just like an actual creamy gold. It's just really, really pretty. It's a lot thicker than Color Shine. I use Color Shine, which is really watery. And it just adds a lot of nice sheen. So this is the photo I'm using of kind of our last swim in the summertime. It happened to be such a warm September. It was like the third weekend in September, which is where it really starts to get cool up here in central New York. And but it was warm enough that even my parents went in the water, and we were swimming and having a great time. So this is our last little hurrah for the summer. And I just had to use this yellow pom-pom frame, which you saw in a previous video I was trying to use on my page, but it totally reminded me of a sunshine, so I had to use it. And then this blue paper reminded me of waves, so I'm going to use a little smidge of that too. And I picked out a couple other pattern papers and colors that I thought would go with my theme. If you look at this kit, just like a picture of the whole kit, it does not look very summery. It almost has a fall vibe to it, actually, which I definitely am going to use this for some fall photos as well. But when you go through certain parts, there's a couple phrases that, like the one I have there on the desk that says "Hey sunshine," and a couple other sunshine references, or sunny days references. So you can definitely make something summery out of it. So I added a dark blue strip and kind of a peachy strip, and I'm definitely going to use this Hey Sunshine tag, and I like the bright reddish color with the bright yellow. That kind of contrast adds against the blue. And I thought about just using a piece of this pattern paper, but the triangles were super cute, so I am going to, so here I'm trying to work with a strip of the triangles. Excuse me. So I decided, well, maybe I could cut out those triangles because they are pretty cute. I played around with it as a strip first, and it wasn't working. And I'm going to move some things around, I guess. Okay, here I go, finally cutting out these little triangle bits. And I love what triangles do for a page, and just the movement that they convey, showing a direction, even a chevron pattern, or or arrows, any kind of things like that have just, I just think add so much movement to a page. There are like 5 different colors, I think, 5 different colors of triangles, so I'm going to use 5 on top and 5 on the bottom. The blue ones kind of blend in with the background a little bit, but it's totally fine. When I pop them off the page, you can see them a little bit and add some interest. What else do I have? Oh, I have a little label sticker on the right, or I'm sorry, on the left that kind of matches the red in the Hey Sunshine frame. And now I'm going to this chipboard, which I love. And I thought maybe adding a little bit more of that reddish orange in there with that camera, but it just took too much. So took too much of the space and took your eye too much away from the photo. So I went through the die cuts instead, and I found the phrase that said magic, and I loved the colors in that, especially the little bit of yellow there in the letter A, and there's kind of a greenish color, so I found another green piece of chipboard that I put on the right that says happy happy, and that kind of picks up on the green in the word magic. And then a dark blue star by that word. And these stickers are super cute. Those are from the Willow Lane collection from Create Paper. And this little scripty, another scripty word that says sunshine. And the title will be Sunshine is Magic. And yeah, I just love how that scripty. I've been liking mixing my fonts lately, having kind of like a scripty word and then a more block letters kind of word to go along with that. So that's a fun technique, mixing your fonts. And I'm just going to trying to find a few more bits to add here. I don't really add too much more because I don't want to, I already feel like it's getting kind of busy with the colors and the mixed media and the triangles kind of having movement there, and then I have circular elements and a whole bunch of stuff. So I am going to take that off because underneath the bottom corner of my photo, I felt like I was missing some lines. It was very white down there. So I'm going to go back with my stencil. And I actually, instead of misting through the stencil, I just misted the stencil. And you can see it's only a really little bit. And then I'm going to add another layer of this dark blue, so just so I have a little bit of the mixed media peeking out from the bottom of the photo, because I just felt it was very, very white down there. And then I go back with the gold too. So just a repeat of the process I did originally. Dry that off. And now when I put my photo back on, I have a little bit of that blue peeking out from the bottom. So I think I'm just going to start gluing now. I'm going to glue these strips, and I don't end up gluing them down exactly how I had them laid out. It's pretty close, but it's never exact from how I had it set up initially, and that's fine. That doesn't really bother me. Well, sometimes it does, but in this case, it didn't too much. And I always trim these chipboard pieces when I tuck them underneath the photo, because they just get so bulky under your photo that I think it's best to trim them off so that you don't have all that bulk under your photo. So I'm gonna kind of make up that difference in bulk with some craft foam here. So I'm leaving the part that's overlapping the chipboard frame kind of exposed, and just gonna leave the chipboard frame kind of on the edge under the photo. There's a lot of white space in the top of the photo, and I really wanted that white space to be against the darker color of the blue background. I didn't want it to be against that peach pattern paper, so you saw me there tear off another kind of strip of that peach pattern paper that I had already glued down, because I wanted the photo to stick out from the top, not the peach pattern paper, because I wanted the photo against the blue background and not the peach, because the peach was just too light. So I'm rearranging these triangles again. I'm going to go back and put those on with some 3D foam squares and pop them up and give them some dimension. One thing I did not do on this page that sometimes it calls to me and sometimes it doesn't, but was stitching. I could have very well gone through and done some horizontal stitching over kind of like my stencil lines, because the stencil was a horizontal pattern. So I didn't put any stitching on this page. It would have been nice to add a little bit of texture, but I think I was just kind of in the groove of putting things on the page, and I'd already gotten to this point when I considered it, and I'm like, I'm not going to go back and take everything off just to add some stitching, so it's going to look fine without the stitching. So I'm going to skip it this time, but it would have been a nice little touch, I think. I'm popping off these letters too. And I was happy that my foam squares are small enough to actually fit the letters. Sometimes I have to cut the foam squares, which is a pain. But yeah, the letters were a perfect size. These foam squares, by the way, I alternate between using the Thermoweb ones, and these ones are from Oriental Trading Company, which you can get for really cheap. And they have 3 different sizes, but each size is also a different height. So the smallest ones, which I have on my desk here, stick off the page a little bit, and the medium ones stick off the page a little bit more, and then the bigger ones give a lot of height to your elements off the page. So I like that they have different heights and sizes. I'm trying to find a place to put this little piece of trim. It comes in the kit this month for Hip Kit Club, and I've tried to use it on the last page I did with this kit. I'm like, okay, I want to use this because it's so cute. I love the little stars. I love the gold. I love the sparkle that brings. And I thought it kind of picked up the gold a little bit that I had put on there with the colorings, the shimmers ink there. One last little thing, my white borders all around the edge were a tiny bit boring, so I found this Project Life card in the kit, and it had all of the colors that I had going on my page, the yellow, the dark blue, and I just had to use that. So I'm just going to tear a tiny strip and put a strip on the top, and then put another strip on the bottom. And I think that helps with the balance and just makes those edges a little bit more fun rather than just kind of a plain white edge. And is that it? I think that about does it. I could have stitched over those too, but I didn't even bother stitching over those. It is what it is. I added my journaling, I added a label for the date, and that does it. So there is the finished page. I can't wait to use this stencil again. I just love it. And I can't wait to try to use this kit for a fall page now. That's kind of fun, using a kit for a summery feel and a fall feel. So that'll be coming up soon. I wish I did a fall scrapping series. That's a whole other project. Maybe I will sometime. That would be awesome. I love fall. Anyway, that's my page for today. Be sure to visit Virginia's page as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. Stay scrappy, friends. I'll see you tomorrow for day 17.